Tesla is changing, and they're doing it fast. This has suddenly become the most exciting time to be following the company in what feels like years. A quarterly report that was expected to be filled with doom and gloom turned out to be a new roadmap forward in the short term for Tesla to evolve into something we've never seen before. This is the real reason why everything just changed. Okay, so the big news that everyone is talking about right now is the new Tesla vehicle lineup coming in 2025. But I'm going to tell you a secret. That is not the thing that Elon Musk wanted you to take away from the company's latest reveal. Elon wants to make autonomy the primary focus. Everything else is only being done to support the rollout of Tesla's self-driving AI. Let's focus on these words in particular. Tesla writes, "The future is not only electric, but also autonomous." So when people think about Tesla, they should all be relating that name to EV and autonomy side by side with equal importance. Stick with me here. This is a long quote, but it's very important. We believe a scalable and profitable autonomy business can be realized through a vision-only architecture with end-to-end neural networks trained on billions of miles of real-world data. Since the launch of FSD-supervised V12 earlier this year, it has become clear that this architecture, long pursued by Tesla, is the right solution for scalable autonomy. Now, what does scalable and profitable autonomy look like? Well, Tesla did release one new product this week, the Tesla Network ride-hailing app. This is something that we've known has been coming for a very long time now. It's actually a topic we covered in the very first video we uploaded to this channel over 4 years ago. But what we're looking at is the first time that the company has put it out there in black and white for the world to see. Confidence is what this all signals. Tesla, not just Elon Musk, but Tesla as a unified company is confident that full self-driving is moving in the right direction and it's getting very close to the final destination, a genuine autonomous vehicle that can simply be switched on through software alone. A key indicator of this can be found at the very tip of a graph that shows cumulative miles driven with FSD beta. We see a very predictable linear growth from March 2023 to March 2024. At this point, the line makes a departure and starts to grow at a near vertical rate from March to April. This is the result of Tesla offering 1 free month of FSD for every customer in North America with the eligible hardware, which Elon confirmed is around 1.8 million cars, and he claims that over half of those owners have taken up the offer to install FSD. Over that same period, we haven't heard any kind of report about a massive uptick in Tesla Autopilot-related crashes, which would have been all over the news if it had happened. So, to me, that's a strong indicator that the new software is working great and is more than safe enough for the average Tesla owner to use without incident. That means we are very close to being ready for the next steps, the robotaxi or cybercab as Elon is now calling it. Tesla says that the purpose-built robotaxi product will continue to pursue a revolutionary unboxed manufacturing strategy, which will be totally different from the way that Tesla builds their current vehicles, and even a little more advanced than the approach Tesla is about to take with their updated 2025 vehicle lineup. Let's talk about how we get the most out of our electric vehicles. Imagine having your real-world range, your charging costs, and driving efficiency all at your fingertips. With Tronity, you gain full control over your EV data. Tronity is an app that will automatically collect, document, and analyze all of the data generated by your electric car in one place, no extra hardware required. Want to know how your driving behavior influences the condition of your battery and operating cost? Well, Tronity's app provides the answers. Imagine the first digital driver's logbook made specifically for EVs and plug-in hybrids. All your trips are automatically recorded and listed for you, allowing you to sort your drives into private and business trips with just 2 clicks. Tronity is clever, simple, and 100% tax compliant. Tronity's charging log automatically records all of your car's battery activity, where, when, how much, and at what cost. Download the Tronity app right now and start your 14-day free trial and use code TESLASPACE25 for an additional 25% off. When you experience the features that this app unlocks on your electric car, you won't want to drive without it. Okay, so we know that the Cybercab is on the list of upcoming Tesla products, but the new earnings report also tells us that Tesla is working on a lot more when it comes to new vehicles. At the top of the slide deck, Tesla writes, "Ultimately, we are focused on profitable growth, including by leveraging existing factories and production lines to introduce new and more affordable products." Again, long quote here, but trust me, this is important. We have updated our future vehicle lineup to accelerate the launch of new models ahead of our previously communicated start of production in the second half of 2025. These new vehicles, including more affordable models, will utilize aspects of the next generation platform as well as aspects of our current platforms and will be able to be produced on the same manufacturing lines as our current vehicle lineup. So, what does that mean? Here's the way I see it. Tesla is not in a bad place right now in terms of vehicle sales and revenue, but they're not in a good place either. It's just a very challenging point in time for this particular industry. High interest rates mean that people are more reluctant to take on debt from something like financing or leasing a new car. The hype around electric cars has started to die down. We're coming off the peak of inflated expectations, and reality sets in that the infrastructure of North America is not ready for a full EV transition just yet. We can see this illustrated in Tesla's production and delivery numbers. In the first quarter of this year, Tesla built 412,376 Model 3 and Y vehicles globally. Over the same period, they delivered just 369,783. That means Tesla is currently building nearly 46,000 more vehicles than they can sell over a 3-month period. Compared to the same quarter in 2023, Tesla built just 2% less Model 3 and Y in 2024, while they delivered 10% less of those vehicles to customers over the same time period. We can also see from last year's numbers that Tesla has the global capacity to produce up to 476,777 Model 3 and Y globally in one quarter. There was a time in the not-so-distant past, Tesla would sell every car that they could build before they even built it. This is not the case anymore. The point here is that Tesla has more capacity to build cars right now on their existing lines than they have customers wanting to buy their existing vehicles. So their idea is to solve both problems at once by making relatively small and inexpensive modifications to their current production lines that allow them to build new vehicle models that will appeal to a broader range of customers. The revolutionary unbox process that we mentioned earlier is going to require Tesla to build entirely new production lines, even new gigafactories, and that's not the kind of project that the company is going to take on when their automotive revenues are pulling negative numbers. We've got to bump those numbers up first. So the company is going to take some elements of that unbox philosophy and apply them to existing products like the Model 3 and Y platform. The goal in this case being cost cutting, and that comes in two ways. For one, there's plenty of simple material cost reductions that you can make on a Tesla. With the opulent features like the glass skylight roof and overpowered infotainment computer, the Model 3 was never intended to be an economy car when it was designed, and that was the right decision at the time, because in 2018, an electric car had to be exceptional to be taken seriously. This had to steal customers away from Audi and BMW. Luckily, that's not the case anymore. The average person doesn't need as much convincing to go electric, but they do still need to have a vehicle that fits their price range and does all of the things that their old gas car could do. As long as Tesla can preserve their core features, very good range and very fast charging, then they can get away with skimping a bit on the other things. I'd even wager that more people would be more willing to buy a Tesla that had less tech involved with the interior and the controls. For example, going back to a normal steering wheel with no touch buttons, bringing back control stalks for wipers, headlights, and gear shift, maybe even, God forbid, just shrink down the center screen to a normal size and put a regular speedometer and gauge cluster in the dashboard in front of the driver. Now, the other side of the coin is the manufacturing of the vehicle. Tesla says that they're not ready to go full unboxed yet, but they can start to bring over elements of that process. So, What does that look like? Well, I think we've already seen two fine examples in the Cybertruck. One is the 48-volt architecture. I've been watching Sandy Munro and his crew tear down a Cybertruck and rip its guts out, and what I've really noticed is just how small and light all of the electronic systems are. The wires and cables and connectors are tiny, especially compared to this massive, powerful beast of a truck. So I can see with my own eyes why Tesla is doing this change to higher voltage systems, and I think they're going to keep going with every new car they make. Number two actually surprised me. I didn't think I would agree with this point, but steer-by-wire should be on all new Tesla vehicles. And again, this comes after watching Sandy tear apart a Cybertruck and explain how it works. Doing steer-by-wire is probably cheaper overall for the production process than doing a mechanical linkage, and it also aligns better with the unbox philosophy. Now the entire front-end assembly with the steering, brakes, suspension, all of that complex stuff can be assembled somewhere away from the rest of the car. Then you just bring it over, clip in the electrical connections, and you're good to go. No mechanical linkages, no fasteners, no grease. You don't have to cut a big hole in the vehicle's firewall and run a big steering column down into the front clip. Steer-by-wire is just so much cleaner, and I'm pretty satisfied that Tesla is doing enough with their redundant systems to make it safe. As for what these new cars would look like, I think we're only limited by our imagination. Take a Model 3 platform and make it shorter to get a compact. Make it longer to get a station wagon. Cut the roof off entirely and make a compact convertible. Remember like 20 years ago when almost all cars had a convertible option and now virtually zero are convertible? We should bring it back. An all-electric convertible would slay right now. Of course, the real unbox process is being reversed for the Cybercab. That's probably not actually the real name, it's just something that Elon said offhand after he said robotaxi, and now the internet, as usual, is doubling down on making it a thing, and we will continue to follow that trend. This is what Elon is really looking at for the future of Tesla. All of these new affordable models are just stopgap measures that are going to help the company fund the new production lines and factories that will be required to build the Cybercab army and the humanoid robot army, but we're not going there today. We can see Tesla setting the groundwork for this transition. Look at the graph showing the company's AI training capacity. This essentially tells us the size of their supercomputer resources. Tesla already had a gigantic supercomputer cluster back in 2022, which quadrupled by 2023, and that has more than doubled just in the last 6 months, with no signs of slowing down. All of these resources are being poured into finishing FSD. With version 12, I feel like Tesla AI is 90% of the way there, but the last 10% is going to be the most difficult of all. Either way, Elon seems to be at a high level of confidence that everything will come together in time for his next presentation on August 8th, where we've been promised that all will be revealed with the Cybercab, the new Tesla models, the production process. All of the pieces will fall into place. It's going to be the biggest Tesla event since Battery Day, hopefully with more accurate predictions this time.